I will, so what we're going to learn today is what couples are looking for in a storefront, how often to update it, why the impact of your storefront, why it could be costing you bookings, some key features that you might be missing, how to achieve success using the web CRM. So Chelsea will take you through that later on. Some tips on how to turn inquiries into bookings, and the importance of reviews and why customer reviews are really important, and how some tips on how to ask for them. So to get started, I'll just give you some 4 easy breezy takeaways in 4 things that couples should look for in an easy wedding storefront. So the key things are upfront pricing, which Chelsea will talk about later on, photos that match their vision, so what's trending and how to optimize what's trending into your brand, positive reviews, obviously, and some way of connecting on a personal level with your couples. And so to kick things off, I'll throw to Ellie, who will be talking about the content component of your storefront. Take it away, Ellie.
Awesome. Thanks, Mel. Hi, everyone. I'm Ellie, the content manager here at Easy Weddings. So I'll just be running through the written components of your storefront, why it's important to be updating your storefront as often as you can, and some tips and tricks on what to include and how to do that. So to get started, I guess the main question is why? Why should you be updating your Easy Weddings storefront regularly? And I guess that main stat in bold there kind of speaks for itself. It's a pretty massive number in that we get more than 8 million storefront views per year on the Easy Weddings website. So it's important to make sure that you're standing out from the crowd with fresh content. It's important to not just set and forget. I know that, we all have a lot on. You're very busy running your own businesses. You've got your own social accounts, your website, and sometimes your Easy Weddings storefront can kind of fall by the wayside, but it's a really good idea just to remember that when you're adding fresh content, whether it's new images or package information or written content, if you're adding that, to your Instagram, your Facebook, your own website, just hop onto the web CRM and add that to your Easy Weddings storefront as well, so it's always as up to date as possible for couples that are coming onto your storefront. If you're in need of some inspiration to freshen up your content on your storefront, you could have a look at what other suppliers in your category are doing, do a little bit of research, get some inspiration. Another great way to freshen up your image gallery, if you kind of maybe you haven't had a wedding in a while, everything that happened with COVID, you might be lacking and feeling that your gallery is a bit outdated. You could partner with a photographer in your area and set up a styled shoot. That's always a great way to kind of freshen up your image gallery. So going into a little bit more detail around why your storefront might not be converting and getting as many inquiries as you thought it might. So the main thing here is just a lack of information. There might not be much content on there. You might not be conveying your key selling points or the information that couples are looking for well enough or in as much detail as they're kind of expecting. So then they'll probably go elsewhere to find that information. Another big one is low quality or outdated images, which I spoke about. Kind of touched on that briefly. You always want to make sure you've got those beautiful up-to-date images in your gallery. Another one, a written component, if there's minimal text, as I mentioned, spelling and grammar errors, probably not a great look, and missing keywords. So if you're not hitting those keywords, that's a big one for SEO, just making sure that you're including those throughout. And also a lot of couples might be looking for package information or pricing, which I'll speak to on the next slide. So here, these, I guess, are the most important components of a successful Easy Weddings storefront. Some key features that you might be missing out on, you might want to add if they're not already there. So that banner image up the top, whether you want to call it a hero, a banner, it's the main image that a potential customer is going to see as they click into your storefront. So you want to make sure that it's, a really strong image that kind of tells viewers what they need to know about your brand. A strong listing blurb, compelling and well-written content. We say to add around 24 or as many as you can, clean, crisp, high-quality images. Positive client reviews is a big one, and Chelsea's going to speak to that a bit later on in the presentation. And package and pricing information, which it can be a tricky one. Maybe even if you're not comfortable listing your specific prices or all your detailed package information, you could give like a price range or a from price is a good way to go about that. This is going into a little bit more detail about the written content on your storefront and what to include. So that strong listing blurb up the top there, that's about 400 characters. And that's also your listing description that customers are going to read about you as they're scrolling through the directory. So just making sure that that's including all of your key selling points, your keywords, and why couples should book with you or click through to your storefront. Another big one, to break up the text and make it a little bit easier to skim read or digest, you could break your content down into dot points, highlight your key selling points or your unique selling points in bold so they really stand out. So talking about what sets you apart from other suppliers in your category and why should couples book you for their wedding. Making sure that your content is unique and that it differs from your website and your socials. You don't want to just copy and paste across different platforms. It's not great for SEO. Package options and pricing, as I mentioned, if you would like to include that, it's a great addition. Another good way to just highlight a really good testimonial, if you've got one, you could paste it into your storefront copy, pop it in italics like a quote, and that's a great way to show customers credibility from another couple you've worked with if they've given you a really great review. And FAQs, if you have them, is always a good option as well. So a couple of examples now that you might look at that conversion rate and go, wow, that's really, really high. Typically, a good storefront converts at around 10%. So these are just a couple of examples of our top performers. So we've got Combi House here, and they operate Australia-wide. Their storefront to inquiry conversion rate is around 21%, which is very, very high. They've got their gallery there filled with really beautiful, crisp, high-quality images that show their brand and their style very well. They've got that content there broken down with dot points and bolding. They've got their intro is making use of that full 400 character limit, which is great, and including keywords. And then another example there is Perfect Pout Hair and Makeup in Melbourne, and their storefront to inquiry conversion rate is 28.5%, which is really, really, really high, which is great. Again, really strong image gallery. Similar format to the content with the bolding, the dot points, breaking everything down so it's easy to read, and a really, really strong intro text as well. So that's sort of just a brief look, and Chelsea's going to go into a little bit more detail around imagery and specifically hero images. So I will pass over to Chelsea.
Thank you for that, Ellie. Ellie is an absolute magician with words, so trust me, I think I should get her to write my LinkedIn profile, but it might help me out a little bin more. I'm going to go through basically storefront imagery. So a bit obviously hand in hand with what Ellie has said in order to sort of draw a customer in and make sure that you are actually displaying exactly what they want to see for their wedding day. So I'll give you a bit of an explanation. Just to give you a bit of an idea, 41% of couples from our recent survey actually saying that they're picking garden or outdoor style weddings. So that might be the beach, that might be in a forest, everything like that. And the top two trends in terms of what you're actually physically looking for are the themes that we classify as romantic. So that's those really beautiful soft fabrics. You're talking, sort of different types of florals, those peaches, those whites, pinks, light greenery, that sort of thing. And also rustic, which has been actually our top for the past couple of years since 2019. So we should all be very familiar with rustic and how that style comes off as well. So when you're actually building your storefront, you need to think quite clearly as to who is your target market, and do all of your digital platforms match? So that means, like, is your Instagram and your website and your Easy Wedding storefront, as well as your Facebook, all displaying the same sort of, I guess, theme or style in order to match what couples are looking for? If you offer luxury weddings and you're displaying rustic, but you want to target more luxury clients, obviously I would technically remove those rustic ones and put on your luxury clients, and vice versa. If you do a lot of, or you love doing a lot of beach weddings, you wouldn't be displaying, I guess, Sydney City weddings or, you know, Brisbane City weddings where you want beaches like the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast, for example. So making sure that they all match. Test your imagery, see what is preferred. I see people do this all the time on their actual social media where it's like this or that. Love them. The amount of times I've answered your this or that ones because I think they're really fun is a great way to sort of pick which photo sells really well for your product. So I would recommend it. Give it a go, and I look forward to answering them. If you have seen Kelly Mortimer around, guys, she is a wedding sales trainer. We've just popped her information on the bottom. I attend a bunch of her classes all the time, and she talks about quite often how to attract the quality and the style of wedding that you are looking for, so that rather than getting, you know, a million inquiries where some of them you just cannot handle because you don't do that style, you're actually making sure that all of your imagery targets exactly the type of inquiry or the type of couple that you are looking for. So she says, to attract the quality and quantity of wedding leads into your business, you need the right marketing strategy. Here's a result from a recent marketing campaign that their team delivered, basically to change the look of a venue, to change the different inquiries that they were getting. So I've got a couple of before and afters. Here's an example. They've got the cute red chair sashes, which are obviously becoming a little less popular. They've now changed. They've got those romantic colors, the draped ceiling, like still there, all looks very similar to what it was before, but they've just almost amped it up a little bit to make sure that they're targeting a certain type of client. She does the same thing. Top left, you're looking very, very corporate, very much not, I guess, wedding specific. Top right, you're looking a little bit more dated, those chair covers, everything like that people aren't necessarily looking for at the moment, versus the after of the campaign that they did. You've got the beautiful golds, the beautiful whites, the beautiful, you know, wedding trended imagery, the candles in the walkway, all that sort of thing. So have a think about when you're actually displaying, are you on trend with what's coming at the moment? And are you up with the times with things going forward as well? So imagery that is always going to best represent your brand, no matter what theme or style or you know, type of couple that you're looking for, is emotional imagery. Weddings are a very emotional day, a bit different to sort of your birthdays or sort of commercial or real estate-y type stuff where it's very, I guess, plain and straight to the point. Weddings are very emotional. They want to see how you're going to make them feel on their day. Obviously, crisp imagery, really clear, whether that's, you know, if you're not a photographer, you might be a celebrant, but you've got a photographer there and you just say, hey, can you take a couple of extra photos of me, or you know someone, then you're getting that professional photo live from a day. And then authentic is obviously the best, showing happy, laughing couples, just really, I guess, true form of what a wedding actually is. Feel free as well, guys, please type questions in the side. We've got Ellie and Mel available to answer any questions, even if it is on Ellie's topic as well. She'll be jumping on the chat on the right-hand side. And I'm happy to obviously answer any if they don't as well. But another one comes down to your storefront imagery. So like I said, clean, crisp, emotional are the three things. Real wedding examples are always a massive hit. If you can ask your couples for sort of 1 or 2 photos of what you do, whether it's, you know, the cake that you've made for their wedding and they'll have the, you know, the beautiful cake cutting moment, or the, you know, kiss after they've cut it, they're always going to sell better than just a picture of a cake on a white background, for example. So your imagery needs to paint a picture for the couple. So clearly convey your style. A bit like, I guess, we all know they go onto Pinterest and they create their Pinterest boards of their weddings. It's a bit like that, where you're creating a Pinterest mood board of exactly what they want to see on their wedding day. Now, if they see you and they fall in love with you, and then you give them the price and it's slightly out of budget for them, I guarantee you they're going to book you anyway, because you've created the vision that they want for their day. So I definitely did that for my wedding. I said, I want this certain photographer because of exactly how he photographs his day and the photographs that he produces. And he sent me the quote back and then added the travel on top. And I thought, oh, this is getting a bit expensive. But then I was like, no, I'm not compromising on this. This is exactly what I want. Cool. And your storefront images should be as diverse as possible. So if you do cultural weddings, please put them on. If you do, obviously, same sex, please put them on. I get a lot of people who say, oh, I only have X amount of imagery about, for example, just Western style weddings. If you can diversify and you do all those other weddings, please show them off, because couples are happy to see diversity as well. They're not just looking for their typical, couple that they are, for example. Cool. I think with Lara, you've asked a question, can I offer across all garden, beach, inside, rustic? Yes, you definitely can. If you target it, I get quite a few, even like, for example, planners who are like, yeah, we're happy to plan all types of weddings, but they prefer rustic or city-based or beach. They can include them all. If you've got a mix, it's fine. As long as you are sort of displaying what you do, you're going to appeal to lots of different types of couples. If you don't want to do a 300-person wedding in Sydney, don't display images about it, because you don't want that couple. Cool. I hope that makes sense. Now we have some examples of some successful hero images. Now, when you think about a hero image, very similar to Facebook, it's going to be the one at the top of the page, the first one that they see. And if you're going on a mobile device, it's the first thing that they see. So when you're creating a hero image, we actually do this beautiful threefold thing like Haley Page has actually done for their florals. Their conversion rate is 12.6%, which is massive. And when it actually crops down to a mobile, where we have that center image, that's the image that displays at the top of her mobile form of her storefront. So think about both web and mobile. Cool. If you are a photographer and you want to do a really, really long image, like just one image straight across the page, as long as the focus is in the middle, it will crop down to mobile really, really well. So same thing here with Lauren Bridge. She has actually 4 different images, but again, once you crop to mobile, it's going to crop those around that middle too, which are really great, imagery for displaying the types of couples that she works with. Cool. And she has a storefront inquiry rate of 17.7. Wonderful. Now, I guess the big question is how? How do we do all this? How do we, when have you logged in last? Have you had a look at all this sort of stuff? Just like Ellie said before, don't set and forget your Easy Weddings campaign, but also trial things. So different times of the year, or, you might want to try a new listing image or a new sort of gallery setup. Set it for a couple of weeks, have a look at it, see how it performs as well, because in your web CRM, you get given all these tools like statistics, your obviously best performing storefronts, which I'm about to go through. This sort of stuff really creates that digital expo, I guess, a bit like having a stand at an expo. How do you draw the people in? And is it working for you at the moment? So what works now may not work in a year's time, but you've got to give it a go to see what works. Cool. First page that you're going to land on in your in your web CRM is going to be your dashboard tab. Now, you may have heard us partnership managers talking about this every single time that we call, but we cannot stress enough how important that ticking these 11 tick boxes off at the top can do for your profile. It means that you're creating a really full profile and breaks down your business to a couple in order to encourage them to inquire straight away. Yes, couples are going to copy your business name. They're going to chuck it into Google. They're going to stalk you for 6 months on your socials and your website anyway. I don't mind. They've found you through Easy Weddings. They've learnt about you. They've fallen in love with you, and they want to follow you before making an inquiry. I don't mind, as long as we're actually getting them interested with enough information on your profile by ticking off these 11 boxes. To give you a bit of an idea of those 11 boxes, number 1 is 24 great quality images. That is 20% of your profile strength, as we call it. The closer to 100% that you can get, the better that your profile will perform. Getting to 11 reviews is number 2, 20% again. And I'll explain to you in a little bit the reason for that. So putting a big hero image at the top of the page, as I explained before with Lauren, 10% it's worth. Frequently asked questions are worth 10% as well. So because those frequently asked questions appear just before the inquiry form, they're going to get their questions answered before they make their inquiry. So put as much information into those as you possibly can. You've got the option for special offers. Now, we call them kickers. So like as in, this is a kicker to get someone to 1, click on your profile, but 2, inquire with you over someone else. So I know when I was inquiring for my cake for my wedding, I went to 2 people. One person said 50% off a tasting box with every Easy Weddings inquiry, and the other ones didn't have anything. I think they just generally had a like a 5% discount off the cost. They both basically came to the same price for what I was wanting, a 2-tiered cake with obnoxious chocolate work on the top and everything like that. But the difference was I ended up going with the person that offered a 50% off the cake tasting because my partner put more value in that, because he was like, I want to taste cake. This is the best bit about wedding planning. So a special offer that's unique to you could be the difference between someone booking you and booking someone else if they're coming down to price as well. So responding to reviews, obviously 7% there, that is your personal connection. So as Mel was talking before, we look for personal connection. So 2 ways that you can do that on your Easy Weddings profile is 1, responding to reviews, because that shows that you care even after the wedding. And the second is your personal details. So that's your little blurb that sits on the top right-hand side of your Easy Weddings profile. That little blurb can actually make a difference in inquiries. Again, my husband actually booked our celebrant off the fact that the celebrant was an NBA fan and had a beard, and so did my partner. But he only found that out because of the tiny little blurb on the right-hand side. I've seen people pop in that they're, a mum of 3 kids. They come into this industry because they planned their wedding themselves. I've seen people say that they love a beer by the fire and they're a country kind of bloke. Like, that's all good content to use because it builds a personal connection on another level rather than just on your profile alone about your business. Picking your favorite reviews to be featured at the top at all times is awesome. It means that the couples are actually going to see your top 3. They probably read maybe the top 3 to 5 maximum, and then they get the gist. Videos are always great as well. And then you've got, of course, your average price or your pricing tier. Now, that can be included in your text, as Ellie explained before. That sort of stuff explained in your text is a really good selling point, but you can also put in an average price. Now, I recommend average prices are the price that you would most likely book or most want to book. So it means that when a couple's inquiring and they might be asking for a package slightly less than that, they're thinking they're getting a good deal. If it's slightly more than that, of course, those added extras that you're adding on, it's fine. As long as you have a general average price or a price range, that's fine as well. That's what we like to include to give the couples a bit of a pre-planning option in their brains of how to actually plan forward for their budget. Cool. Basically, when you're on your on your web CRM, tab on the left-hand side called Storefront. Now, that is where you can update all of this stuff. So the details tab, as you can see in the pink bar straight across page, you've got details, images, videos, special offers, packages, pros we know, and FAQs. These are all, and if you're a venue, of course, you've got the extra tab called venue details. I do apologize. These are all where you can update all of these things. So basically, all the word-based content is going to be under your details tab. So that's going to be your personal blurb. Mel says we can't see your video. Try clicking the video off and on again. It's fine. We've got our images tab, which is most of the visual picture content. So that's your logo image, that's your like listing image, your hero image, and your gallery. We've got videos, which is anything linked from YouTube or Vimeo, your special offers tab, your packages, where you can include a PDF downloadable brochure. The pros we know to build a bit of a network between all these other EW, Easy Weddings suppliers, and then commonly asked questions from couples in your FAQs. Now for that, this is for an example of the storefront tab. So the visual proof for your imagery, your videos, your real wedding content, all featured on here. You've got your About You section, again, your FAQs and your network. And then again, you'll see the section called Display Average Price. So that's just a bit of an example about the profile. Cool. The last thing that we wanted to go over now, of course, like we said, social proof, I guess, is the best way to actually show off who you are as a business, how well couples interact and communicate with you, everything like that. So we've given a bit of an easier tab on Easy Weddings under reviews in the Wed CRM. And we encourage these reviews because realistically, one review is going to increase your results by 25%. 11, which is the tick box number 2 on your dashboard, 11 reviews can increase your results up to 200%. And then 40 plus is the next step for a 300% increase in results. So on your reviews tab of Wed CRM, you'll be able to click on a section called reviews, and then at the top it says request reviews. So for that, you've actually got your own unique URL. We've just popped an example under option 1, easyweddings.com.au/reviews supplier, and then it will actually say your business name. Send that across to your couples and they can directly leave a review for you. Alternatively, you can provide the Easy Weddings review team with your couple's information and they will contact them for you and request the review. Pretty straightforward. We always say, and I'm not sure if the girls mentioned it before, but asking once for a review will get you 1 in 5 people responding. Asking twice to the same people, if they haven't responded, will get you 1 in 3. So don't hesitate to ask more than once. The last little tab I have here is just an example email that Ellie has provided us with that actually says a bit of, I guess, some selling points from Easy Weddings in order to get your reviews in. So it says, hey, name, congratulations on your wedding and we hope you're settling into married life. We reached out recently to see how your wedding went and just wanted to send a little reminder, as we know it's a busy time winding down after the big day. We were so thrilled to be a part of your wedding day and would love it if you could take a few minutes to leave a review on our Easy Weddings profile. This makes us stand out from the crowd and gives us credibility when other couples read how we helped bring your dream day to life. As a bonus, your reviews on Easy Weddings gives you the chance to win $2,500 in a cash prize. Please click on the link below to leave me a review. You'd pop in your URL. Again, congratulations on tying the knot. Cool. So that's just a bit of an example from Ellie, and I hope a lot of this stuff will help you out in building your visual storefront. Like I said, with Ellie with the text content, myself with the photos, and obviously your reviews. I'll pass back to Mel. Oh, I don't think we can hear you, Mel.
Thanks for that. On mute, classic work from home fail. Yeah, and I was going to say, Ellie put together that really great template. That sort of it's that asking for more. It's that reminder without being pushy. So what I'll do is when I send around the email with the replay link to this session, I'll include that template in the email as well. So yeah, just as a sort of sum up of what we covered earlier in this session. Content checklist for storefront success. So these are the things that you should be sort of aiming for to have a really great storefront. So yeah, complete the 11 tasks on your web CRM dashboard to try and get as close to 100% as possible. Rewrite your listing blurb if you need to. Take advantage of that 400 character length and include all of your unique selling points, as Chelsea mentioned. If you're, there's something that stands out in your personality that resonates with couples, throw it in there. If it's a particular style that you are famous for, add that in as well. Ensure your storefront copy is broken down with dot points and key selling points in bold. So that obviously makes it really easy to skim read when couples are sort of looking at dozens of these profiles. You want to stand out with those key selling points. Add pricing package, info, positive testimonials, all those FAQs as we covered before. And as someone asked, Lara, I think it was Lara asked in the chat, yes, they don't have to come from Easy Weddings. They don't have to be specific to our reviews. They could be from your Google reviews or elsewhere. As long as they're obviously legitimate, you can include those as well. Where are we up to? Adding pricing, yes, as well. That's good. Make sure your storefront images are up to date as possible. So again, it's not a set and forget. Keep updating those as you do more weddings. Add the most recent ones there. Add your Easy Weddings storefront link to your email footer and social media profiles. Now, we didn't cover this in detail in today's session. We have done it in previous sessions. But if you want to know more about how to do that, contact us. Our customer service team will be able to talk you through how to add that. And the last one is send out your review link or submit your couple's contact details for a review call. So again, that template to that email will be in the email that I'll send out shortly. And as Chelsea mentioned, in your web CRM, it includes your unique URL that will point your couple to your specific storefront to leave a review. And as a bonus to get them over the line, we give away a $2,500 cash prize to couples. I think it's every quarter. So that's an extra incentive that doesn't cost you anything. Just to offer you, information about where to go to get in touch. Obviously, our phone number gets our reception and they will direct the call to the relevant department. But also the email for our customer service team is just service@ecweddings.com.au. And before we head off to, obviously we do a bit of a Q&A, cover anything else that hasn't been mentioned in the chat. But if you have any more questions that haven't been answered, pop them now in the chat and we'll cover them before this session ends. But just wanted to take this opportunity to do a bit of housekeeping. Some of you may have seen that we are running our annual survey for businesses at the moment. So this it's basically just a short survey. It should take up to 10 minutes to tell us a little bit about your business, how it's going in 2022, just so we can get some insights that we use to put towards our industry report that we put together every year. So that's happening at the moment. We've got about 2 more weeks before we close that. So we want to try and hear from as many wedding businesses as possible. So if you haven't taken that, please do. I will pop the link in the comment thread now, but I'll also pop that into the email that I send around with the replay link. And in taking part in the survey, there's a chance to win $500. It's a prepaid Visa card for one lucky business that will be chosen at random. And that concludes our prezzo. Now, are there any more questions? We had one earlier about storefront images for hair, I think it was.
I think it was Lara asking about using before and afters. I just answered it for her. We find before and afters do work really well on social media more than the Easy Weddings storefront, because a lot of the time they want to see the end product rather than the before. Not because, I guess, for anything specific. I love before and afters, and I often go to people's socials to look for them. But it's more just to see what kind of hair or makeup you can do. So they want to see if you can do Hollywood waves, if you can do this, if you can do that, rather than the process of getting to that. So I hope that helps.
Oh yeah, one other thing that just reminded me about there was a question about reviews. So some of you, hopefully most of you would have seen we run our annual 5-star reviews awards program at the end of financial year every year. Last few years we've been a little bit lenient on the sort of the qualifying process for that. So next year when we do the awards, we're going to go back to needing at least a minimum of five-star reviews to be eligible for those certificates. So you might need to work a little bit harder if you've only just scraped through this year, or if you haven't quite made it. So work on getting those reviews in, now, so that you don't have a mad rush come sort of end of financial year like the next year. So so keep that in mind. Edward asked in the chat, so that he's got 48 Google reviews and only one on Easy Weddings. How do I get my Google reviews onto Easy Weddings? And Chelsea's answered that, saying basically, like, you sort of need to, there's no way to sort of port them over. You'll just have to ask couples. Yeah, do you want to take that?
Yeah, it's a good question, because of course we do understand a lot of you are balancing between getting Google reviews, getting Facebook reviews, getting Easy Weddings reviews. We do understand it can be a difficult task. I do get quite a lot of couples when they're clients when they're sending their email asking for a review to a couple, they'll actually write, hey, we have this profile, and this profile, feel free to choose. And a lot of couples will actually just copy and paste the same review. I mean, I think 15 to, they're doing anywhere between 15 to 20 odd reviews. If other people are asking for the same sort of thing, they're just going to re-copy and paste them. If you like, Edward, we can, like I said in the message, we can actually call those couples and we will say to them, hey, would you be happy enough to leave the review? The difference is between Google, Facebook and us. Of course, we all have different privacy settings and private, terms and conditions. So we do just need to have their permission in order to use that review on our platform. So I hope that helps.
Excellent. Thanks, Chelsea. Janice has asked how many pictures are not too much to cause bridal boredom.
That's a good one. I think I mentioned in one of my earlier slides, we usually recommend around 24 as a good base. I guess a little bit over that would be fine, but we're not talking about like maybe anything above 50 or getting towards 100. It's just going to overwhelm people. I think if you have 24 really strong images that showcase your brand in the best possible way, that's a great place to start. And then the question there from Jim, quite specific to candles. I think a great way to showcase candles would be to do, if you can do like a little table setup, sort of like a tablescape, and have the candles lit and make it look really beautiful if that's possible. Would you have any other tips on that one, Chelsea?
I'd probably say the same thing. I get quite a lot of my clients who turn around to me and they say they went down to Target and they purchased 3 different plates, and they have different cutlery and slightly different napkins, but they've only purchased one of each item and just done different setups where the plate is there. You've got a bit of floral arrangement kind of in the distant background and then the candle on it. Bit kind of staged, obviously. I completely understand, Jim, because sometimes it's hard to actually get those photos from the couples from their day when everything's been set up, because you've posted the item off and you have to wait for that photo to come back. But yeah, I recommend just before you post it off with their little, if you've got, for example, like their names on the candle and stuff like that, take a quick picture in front of a little table and everything. I know you've got some of these light boxes and stuff that you can buy from different places and pop on different backgrounds, and I find that works really well. So it's like a little, like you said, Ellie, like a mock-up of, I guess, what they're trying to achieve for the day.
Yeah.
A lot of photos that we'll see on our storefronts are sort of, recreations of the similar photos that appear on the supplier's Instagram account as well. So, rather than sort of doing flat lays, like, the content that you would usually use in your Instagram could possibly be repurposed. We've got a question from Lee asking if we have 24 images and we add more, will the old ones drop off? Do you want to take that, Ellie?
Yeah, that is a good question. They won't drop off. There's more of a limit than 24, but I think it's also good to keep in mind if you keep sort of like the 24 to 40 range in mind, and that way you're always going to be refreshing and adding newer images as you're adding them to your socials or your website gallery. I think I touched on that earlier, just always keeping in mind, don't forget about your Easy Weddings storefront. I think that 24, 25 to 40-ish range is a good way to make sure that you're refreshing and your gallery is not going to look outdated. Is a good way to go about that.
I think one other additional tip too, when I've been speaking to a few music suppliers, they've said that they really like to take advantage of the video component, even celebrants as well, just because their sort of product is very visual and very, you're really relying on that audio component. So our storefront allows not just photos, but also video. So if you have some really good videos to showcase your product or your service, we encourage you to add those as well. Is there a limit, Ellie, on how many videos they can add?
No, but again, I would say to stick to around 6 would be a lot, because people aren't going to spend that much time watching all of the different videos. I think as long as you've got at least 2 to 4 really good videos. So I can see that question there from Trevor about being a DJ and finding it hard to capture that in an image. A video is the perfect way to show people what you're all about, the kind of atmosphere you're going to create on their wedding day. Video is the best way to do that, but I think people probably wouldn't click through if you've got 10, 15. It's a lot of video content to consume. I think there are still some great images I've seen from DJs where you're kind of showing people dancing. It's that really great vibe. It's still showing the atmosphere you're creating, but the video content would just take that a step further. If you've got it, definitely make sure that that's on your storefront, and again that it's as up to date as possible is a good one to remember.
Awesome. We might wrap up there then, if nobody else has any more questions. Is there anything else from you, Chelsea or Ellie, to add that you think will be helpful?
I think that's it.
Yeah, just reach out if you need the help. We are always here to help. We have a large team behind us, so happy to assist in any way we can.
Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and thanks to Ellie and Chelsea today for being our wonderful guests. As I mentioned, all the details will be in the email with the replay link, and I'll also include how to contact us if you need some support, as well as links to the survey and that template for asking for reviews. So thank you again for joining us, and hope to see you again next time.